Okay, bear with us. They're trying to get the audio situation straightened out.
Which had just occurred at North Park Elementary School
Okay,
in the city of San Bernardino. This elementary school is located at 5378 North H Street, and our officers responded to the call with the initial responding officers arriving within 4 minutes of the initial call. This does appear to have been a murder-suicide with both a male adult and female adult victim succumbing to injuries, with the male succumbing to a self-inflicted gunshot wound. In addition, we had 2 students who were tragically injured and are listed as critical at this stage in area hospitals. We are not releasing the names or ages of those students at this time, pending notification of family. However, we will release that as soon as we possibly can. Again, this is a tragic incident that has befallen our city, and I assure you that we are doing everything we possibly can to conduct a very thorough investigation into this matter and to reunify all of the involved students at the school as quickly as possible with their parents. I would at this time like to turn the podium over to Superintendent of San Bernardino City Unified School District, Dr. Dale Marsden.
I would like our community and our nation to keep our families in prayer. This is an absolutely tragic event. Our hearts are broken, as is everyone else. I want to thank our school police department, our city police department. In less than 7 minutes, they were on scene. In which, again, North Park students were moved immediately and shuttled to safety. Parents are asked to report to Cajon High School, and please be prepared to present proper identification. And parents, please be patient with the process. Your child's safety is of utmost concern. Your child will be released as soon as practically possible. Please keep in mind some students may need to be interviewed by authorities, and this causes some of the delay. May take that time. I also want to mention to you that we will be closing North Park for at least the next 2 days, and I want you to be aware of that. Again, this is truly tragic. Please join us as we pray. Thank you. And I'd like to introduce our city's mayor, Mayor Carrie Davis.
Far too often in our country and throughout the world, we gather to report this news of tragic events that take place. I want the parents and teachers of North Park Elementary to know of my concern for their health and their welfare and their safety. As was reported, our police department, together with the school police department, responded immediately, was on site to bring to arrest the event, which resulted in the death of 2 victims at this time, the suspect and the victim that also succumbed to the injuries that that person sustained. I want to thank our school district for how well they try to maintain the safety of our community and our children. We are very fortunate to have Dr. Dale Marsden as our superintendent. I appreciate his quick response and his concern for taking leadership over the situation. Also our police department and the school police department that has worked very closely together. We are united with our superintendent, with the school board. I also want to thank and recognize our Congressman Aguilar, who's joined us, our Assembly Member Eloise Reyes, who have expressed their concern and shown their support for this tragic event. Our hearts, as Dr. Marsden expressed, are broken each time any of us have to be engaged in this type of process. I also want to report that I received a telephone call from Deputy Assistant Kirkland from the White House, the President expressing his concern for our community and his concern for the students and teachers of North Park. He has offered his aid in any way possible to help in this situation. Again, I want to thank our President, our school board for all of their concern, and our superintendent, our police department, and the school police department. Thank you.
Captain Ron Moss, that's M-A-A-S-S, of the San Bernardino Police Department, was leading the investigation as the incident commander for this tragedy. And Chief Mark Hartwig, H-A-R-T-W-I-G, of the San Bernardino County Fire Department, was the incident commander on scene for the medical response. Both are here present with us to answer any questions you might have.
Gentlemen, was there any indication that there was some kind of domestic violence or something which may have given you a clue that potential violence was going to happen in the school? Had the person who died, one of the others, the woman who was there died, do we have any indication that there was something there that alerted you of any kind of domestic violence?
We do not have any information at this point as to whether there are any precursors to the incident that would have raised our suspicions as to any type of violence that might have occurred on the campus. We are still working to definitively identify both the male and the female adult victims. Coroner's office was just going in to make those IDs in the last few minutes. From there, we'll be able to determine whether there was a domestic violence situation. At this point, we don't know definitively one way or the other.
Do we have any indication that the two children
were they targeted?
The children, we do not believe were targeted. The entire incident was limited to a single classroom on the school campus. The suspect had come to the classroom to visit the adult female that was in the classroom. We believe the two children were the unfortunate recipients of injuries by being in proximity to the female at the time of the incident.
Do we know how many shots were fired?
We do not know for certain how many shots were fired.
Was the adult female the instructor in the classroom?
Yes.
Do you know what the relationship is between the two adults?
We are working to determine that for certain. We have an idea, but we don't know for certain at this point.
What grade of classroom is this?
Not certain at this point. It looks like it might have been a multi-grade classroom.
The children who were injured, were they gunshot victims or were they injured?
They were gunshot victims, yes.
When might we learn their condition or the update?
3:30 this afternoon, we'll have another press conference, and we should have more information at that point.
How did the suspect gain entry into the classroom? Did he have the gun? Was it visible? Was there any indication that this was...
There is no indication that the gun was visible upon his arrival at the school. It wasn't until he came into the classroom that he presented the firearm.
There's been a lot of confusion on the part of parents, understandably, with the situation. They're going to the high school, but they're eventually picking up their kids from the university. Can you explain why that procedure was put in place and if it's going to be a little easier toward the end of the day?
Yes, it will get easier towards the end of the day. The reason we did that is there are students and staff that may have been witnesses to this, and we need to interview them and get that information from them. And then we also want to work on reunifying the two, and it's much more difficult if they're both at the same facility at the same time.
You said the suspect was visiting the female instructor. Did he come through the office? Did he check in? Did he sign in with the front office before he went to visit the instructor?
Yes, he did.
Was he known to the front office?
I believe he was, yes.
Are there any hand weapon detectors by school officers? You got knowledge?
I would have to defer to school police. I'm not aware of any. I don't believe there's any metal detectors or anything like that to get on campus, no.
Are the children's parents with them, as far as you know?
We are doing everything we can to get the parents with the children.
Do they have been
With the victims. We're working on investigation still. I believe one set has been. I don't know about the other.
Did law enforcement make contact with the suspect before the suspect took his life?
No.
This was a handgun, right?
Yes, it was.
And did the suspect leave a note or any?
Not that we've seen at this point yet.
And again, you're not disclosing the relationship between the shooter and the teacher, if they were related, perhaps an intimate relationship.
We're trying to make sure we know who the suspect truly is before we make something like that. I don't want to say something that might turn out to be not accurate later.
Approximately how many people were in the classroom and whether there were any other adults in